Good morning, sweethearts. How y'all doing? Are you feeling the magic? Sun probably won't rise here for about another 45 minutes, an hour maybe, but you can see it's trying back there, but there's the moon. She's beautiful as ever. You know, sweet ones, as I many others stated before, your faith will be tested. You will be tested through these full moon energies. And that goes for all of us. Yesterday, when I got the news from my MRI, the human aspect of me was okay with it until last night. And it really hit me hard last night. And I probably cried for, I don't know, 2.5, 3 hours. And I found myself spiraling. And, you know, I'll be the first one to encourage you. Good morning, Valerie. Good, I'm glad. Good morning, Helena. Good morning, Nando. Helena, I have to say, you triggered me. Beautiful. Thank you. And you had made a comment on something, and boy, I really felt into that, and it really triggered me last night. But another thing that triggered me was, you know, we encourage you to reach out, and to those that we individually have allowed ourselves to become very. Good morning, Jenny. Good morning, Nando. Those we have allowed ourselves to be vulnerable with, if you will. And for myself, there's very few that I've lost everybody in my life. Anybody in this physical world that has been close to me, besides my sister, I've lost. And that in and of itself is not an easy aspect. And you know, they've all fallen away. My children, you know, my family, my spouse, and then my fiance, you know, after my divorce in 2010, you know, everything has fallen away from me. And I've been okay with that. I've adjusted to that. You know, I've accepted that because that is something that, you know, we go through. The more we heal within ourselves and we raise in frequency. I am the first one to tell you to transcend the humanness, if you will. I'm not saying to transcend the human itself, just the humanness, the human programming and everything else. Well, last night when I started to spiral, you know, I actually reached out to 2 different people. Neither one of them responded to me. Both of them ignored me, which isn't unusual. And I'm okay with that. But what it showed me was this. There is nothing outside of you. And even though the human aspect is being transcended, and we have to trust, we have to have faith in the truth of the trust we behold. Whether that truth you relate to yourself, your spirit, your journey, whatever that your faith is in, whatever trust you behold, whether it's in yourself, whether it's in the Creator, whether it's both, whatever it may be. When I started to spiral last night, what I realized was this. Yes, we are in the understanding that the medical profession is there to enslave us. And yes, we get into that fear because that's where we've been programmed. I'm, again, the first to tell you that any illness, any disease, any pain, discomfort, distortion, whatever it is in your physical body is directly, whether it wants to be accepted by the human aspect of us or not, it is directly tied into an unhealed emotional issue. And right now, we are purging more of an ancient collective memory, if you will. Good morning, Marco. Good morning, Barack. Good morning, Adela. And you're right, Valerie. I'm aware of that, sweetheart. You're absolutely right. Valerie says nobody ignored you. You needed to do this on your own. Hey, sweet one. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm coming to that, Valerie. So anyways, through this, I really realized just how alone, and mind you, don't misinterpret that word. There's a difference between alone and loneliness. And I really realized how alone in the physical world I really am. And never are you alone. You always have your guide, you always have your team, you always have yourself. But for the human aspect in the physical, I'm very alone. And that in and of itself, when you face something from the human aspect, for me, I dealt with the fact that my vessel has lung cancer. I'm good with that. I healed it. I put it into remission. And then I put myself back into a space. When I came back here to Texas, I put myself, by choice, into a space that I knew had the potential to put me back into that other space. However, for myself, it was an unselfish move. And one that Spirit guided me that I needed to take regardless. And so here I am back in Texas. With a month after I came back to Texas, again, I put myself back into a lower frequency. By doing so, my lung cancer came back. And I understood that. I understood that. I overstood that. What I was not prepared for, and this is what these full moon energies are doing, what I was not prepared for was to be told that I had pancreas cancer. All right, let me restate that. Thank you. My vessel has pancreatic cancer. I do not have it. I am not my vessel. And thank you. And so last night, when it really hit my human aspect hard, I started to spiral. And I literally sat there and found myself, and as a matter of fact, I texted this to somebody and said, I'm at a space where I can't do it anymore. I'm exhausted. And it's like, I'm to the point where I'm not even going to do my live videos anymore. I am not going to do my posts. And I am going to just really put myself into... I'm just going to pull back. And I'm really going to concentrate on really just being happy and being at peace. And living out the rest of my few months. Living rather than existing. And this is what I was facing last night. And I really reached out to this one person because this one person for whatever it was. Anyways, I felt the need to reach out to this one person, and this one person just stared at me. Just stared at me like they didn't even see me. And then I read a comment that Helena had put on, I think it was a live video I did yesterday. And then another person put something on it. And then Emily, after I sat there when I'm spiraling, and I told Spirit, I said, look, I said, Sky Command, Self, Spirit, I said, you gotta ground me and harmonize me. I said, because I'm spiraling here. I said, I see the fear. I see what the human aspect of it is doing. And it's like, it will not rob me of my faith. And I immediately went into, in just a blink of an eye, I'm telling you, I went from spiraling to saying the violet fire invocation, and the next thing I know, literally in a blink of an eye, it switched, and then I got a message from Miss Emily Blake. And she just needed a little bit of love and guidance, and I know exactly why Spirit sent her to me. Because it was right after I told Spirit, right after I said, look, I'm pulling away. I'm not doing this no more. I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted from fighting battle after battle after battle in this physical world. And right after that, that's when I told Spirit, I'm not doing live video. I'm not going to help anybody else. I'm going to focus on me. And right after that, bless her beautiful heart, thank you, Spirit, Emily messages me, and she too is in her own space, needing some guidance. And, you know, in that split second, I love you, Emily. I love all of you, sweethearts. And Valerie's right. I'm not speaking sadness. And it's really helpful to understand my tears are tears of joy. Because it shows me just how important faith is to us. And why we're tested on it. So when Emily messaged me and asked me a question, and explained what she was going through. Absolutely, Marlon. Absolutely. And Spirit showed me by Emily messaging me, because I immediately was out. I was back in my spirit. I was out of the spiral at that point. And the second I asked, and I did. I told Spirit, I told Sky Command, I told myself, I said, change this, collapse this timeline. Change this paradigm. I'm not playing this game no more. You can test me all you want, but I am not going to fall into your bullshit. And it's like, change it. It's like, because you know what? As far as I'm concerned, I command that all pancreatic cancer, all rejection, which is the metaphysical, unhealed, unresolved emotional issue tied into pancreatic cancer, pancreatitis, whatever it may be. And it's like, and I commanded it be released from every timeline, every paradigm, parallel universe, yada, 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 yada. You know, I go in and do my own ritual, whatever. And remember, words are powerful. What you speak, you become. What you speak is a promise you make to yourself. And so for myself, I did. Right in that, and right after I said that, Emily messaged me, and I went in straight into my spirit. And it's like, breathe, Emmy. You know, stay grounded, da 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 da, yada 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 yada. And from that point on, I was changed again. Because I called upon myself and my team and Sky Command and my angels, you know, take me up into the crystal light chambers tonight in the shift. Rewire me, recalibrate me, balance and harmonize me. Which I do all the time anyways. I go up into the crystal light chambers anyways. But that is the power of you, sweet ones. Yes, these energies are intense. Yes, they make you spiral. Yes, they're going to test your faith. They're going to test everything about you. And it is you and only you that can bring yourself out of it or allow yourself to spiral. And you're not alone in what you go through. And know that regardless if you reach out and you're rejected, bless them. And because everything is showing you something about yourself. And again, when pancreatitis and pancreatic cancer is directly tied into rejection. Oh, bless your heart, Astro. And again, it shows you, when I reached out to those two people who happened to have been the masculine divine, both of them ignored me and rejected me again in my spiral of the fear of pancreatic cancer, which again is directly tied into rejection, which goes back to what Valerie stated earlier. They didn't ignore you, you had to do this alone. When you can see through, see beyond, see around it, above it, below it, you will see that it is, whatever you want to call it, test, initiation, whatever it is. I may lose faith in my humanness. I will never lose faith in my spirit. I love you, Miguel. You are amazing. You can and will get through. Absolutely, I will get through it. And I am not amazing. We are amazing. And keep the faith, sweet ones. Your spirit will never abandon you. Your spirit will never reject you. Your heart will always lead you to where it needs to be. Now, whether you or not you heed that leading, that's a free will choice. But your heart will always lead you to it. Your spirit, your soul will overcome any obstacle that it is presenting to get your heart to where it needs to be. And your spirit will push your soul to do that. Your spirit, your soul, your heart will never lead you wrong if you have faith and trust in it. Everything in the physical world that you see that is tangible for you will push you, will test you, will limit you. And that's the one thing about the physical world. The physical world is all about limits. The physical world is all about keeping you confined. My ravens. Two of them, see them? Can you see them back there flying? Gratitude, Raven. I love you too. And this journey in this physical world is to push those boundaries, to push those limits, to push those confines that we've been put in. And allow yourselves to do that no matter how fearful it may be. Lung cancer didn't get me down. Pancreatic cancer sure in the hell ain't gonna get me down. And I understand why Spirit has me physically in a space of being alone in the physical. And I'm okay with that. It's not often I get lonely. Last night, trust me, was one night I didn't want to be alone physically. And that's why I reached out. And, because, I spend a great amount of my physical life alone. I spend a great amount in nature. Alone as far as other physical beings, human beings. I'm not alone. I got my animals, I got nature, I got Gaia, in that sense I'm not alone. But the human side of us, because our natural state of being is in union. Now, I say that, and I'm not talking necessarily a romantic union. Don't take it that way. And bless David Chase, if you're watching this, I love you. Bless your heart. He posted something yesterday, which I didn't see it. Unless it comes up in my notifications and most of the time I'm not even on Facebook. I'm on through, my messenger is always on, but I go normally through Instagram. I post through Instagram and it automatically posts to my Twitter, to my Facebook, to my webpage, yada, yada, yada. And so when I logged on this morning, when I physically logged on, because I have to log on to do a live, and then I usually log out and just have my messenger on. So unless it shows up in my news feed or in my notifications, and on my phone, I only have my phone. My phone only shows me like 10 at a time, and that's it. And anyways, whatever David Chase had posted yesterday morning or yesterday afternoon, it showed up on my news feed this morning. And it said something about just laughing. Just laugh through this. And he's so right. And that was just confirmation from Spirit for me. That I made the right choice of getting out of, of the choices that I made after I stopped crying last night and got out, allowed myself to not spiral. And, observe yourself, sweet ones. When those feelings start coming up, and trust me, through it all, and this is where you can really, if you have reached a space, within yourself, when you sit there and say, and I say this all the time to myself, I am healthy. I am whole. I don't usually let the fear of my mind, my ego, get to me. But, when you're sitting there and you're told, when you're human, and this is done whether you're in, and this is really helpful to understand. When you go through anesthesia, when you go through, and you're put under, everything those doctors say while you're in surgery and you're under anesthesia, everything else, everything they say goes into your subconscious. So if you're in a surgery and heart disease, whatever it may be, if you're in a surgery or something like that and you're under anesthesia, and those doctors are sitting there and they're talking about, oh, this looks bad, I don't think he or she's going to make it through this, we can do this, but the prognosis, they maybe have just a few months or this or that. Whatever the doctor and the nurses and the surgery team are talking about, that's going into your subconscious. So your subconscious is automatically taking in everything they say. And if they're sitting there talking about, well, let's do this, this isn't really going to help her in the long run, but, we'll try it and see, or they're stitching you up and they're completing the surgery and they're sitting there talking about, we've done all we can, she only got a few months or da-da-da-da-da. That's going into your subconscious mind. And now your subconscious mind is taking that on to be truth. Now your human aspect, when you wake up out of this anesthesia and stuff like that, now you have all that in your back of your subconscious mind that is going to keep creating that fear and stuff until you deal with it. And I love you, McGillis. I love all of you guys, and I really appreciate your love and support. Trust me, it for the human side of me, it really helps me get through it. It really does. And so, you know, the human aspect of us, because we've been so much enslaved and to be dependent on everything outside of us, and the medical profession, yada, yada, yada. When, like I said, when they told me yesterday, it was a shock to me, don't get me wrong. I sat there, I made a post, you know. It felt like the gates of heaven and the gates of hell were both open and flooding me all at the same time. But I was okay with it. Until last night. So from yesterday morning until last night, you know, the fear just kept spiraling within my subconscious. And, you know, you hear a diagnosis, well, that's your diagnosis. And that's what my spirit and my humans sit there and say. Well, that's what you say, that's your diagnosis, yada, yada, yada. You know? But the human aspect don't attach to the diagnosis. The human aspect ties to what they say after the diagnosis, sweet ones. Okay, you have pancreatic cancer. Okay, so my spirit is saying, okay, rejection. Deal with the rejection, right? But then it was the next words after that my human latched onto, that spiraled out of control last night, that came to the surface. And that was, you know, of course they talk about all the treatments, yada, 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 chemo this, yada, yada, yada. But it was the words after that. Okay, what are we looking at? How long do I have, in your opinion? Well, if you do this, if you do that, da 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 da, and if you do nothing, you have a few months. Well, you know, me, the first thing my spirit says is, you say I have pancreatic cancer, my vessel has pancreatic cancer, I don't have it. You say I have a few months, I say I'm eternal, I'm immortal. So now my human, because my spirit has automatically counteracted what they're trying to enslave my human aspect to believe, if you will. Well, good morning, Mama. Mama Kitty. And did you see her? There's Braveheart, and there's Mama. And so the fear that came up last night was, out of everything that I was told yesterday, the fear that came up for me last night that made me spiral, you have only a few months to live. The tears come because out of everything my human side could attach to, it had to attach to that. My tears are not tears of sadness. Trust me, they're tears of joy. Because it really shows us just how powerful fear can be. And we all know that the fifth dimensional new earth is not a flesh earth. It's a light body earth. I am and have been in full awareness that my flesh, that I'm crystallining my light body, not my flesh. I've said that to you, sweethearts, for how long now? So, the fact that they say I only have a few months to live, I'm good with that. I'm not afraid of death. Death is a transcendence of worlds. And one thing you learn on this spiritual journey is death is not real. So, am I afraid of dying? Not at all. But what really got me when he sat there and told me I only have a few months to live, you want to know what ran through my head? Is, what do you mean I only have a few months to live? I'm healthy, wealthy, and wise. What do you mean I only have a few months to live? I'm good with leaving this physical world. I'm not good leaving this physical world on your terms. And that's really what got to me last night. To have somebody dictate, and I'm a rebellion. I'm telling you, I've been this way my whole life. I've been a teller of unpopular truths. It has led me to be everybody in my physical life. Everyone, including the spiritual community up until a few months ago. Everyone has rejected me. And that really hit home last night. At just how literally, and when I reached out, again, was ignored and rejected. And it really hit home for me. Because my parents rejected me. Now, remember, every unresolved issue, emotional issue, will manifest into something. So, I'm sitting here and I'm observing this last night, right? Every person in my life, in my physical lifetime, in this lifetime, has rejected me or abandoned me. Now remember, in the beginning of this video, I said this is an ancient collective clearing that presents itself through us to clear, balance, yada, yada, yada. Okay, now let's step it back a sec here. And so now, as I'm spiraling last night, I'm observing this. And my parents abandoned me and rejected me. I was a mistake. I was never supposed to be born. My one sister is literally 11 months older than I am. My birthday is February 1st. Her birthday is February 28th. And we're the same age for 27 days. We're 11 months apart. And that was really pushed into me when I was a child, that I was an unwanted child, that I was never supposed to be born. And then it was a constant argument because my mom got pregnant right after having my sister. My dad thought that she cheated on him and it wasn't his baby. And so here I am now, a baby being born into a fight of back and forth of being, I'm a devil child. I wasn't wanted. I was a product of an affair, or so they thought, which it turned out not to be true. But I mean, it was a fight going on, through my early childhood. I was rejected by my brothers and sisters. I was rejected by my family because I could speak in tongues. I was told I was a devil child. I was told I was evil. I was told I was this. I was told I was that consistently. Grade school. From the time I was like 3-4 years old up until the middle of 2nd grade, I had to wear braces on my feet, all the way up to my knees. I couldn't walk right. And I got teased mercifully, I'm telling you. And I was constantly rejected by all the young kids in 1st and 2nd and 3rd grade because, I had braces on my legs and I couldn't walk right. And then all the way, I was shuffled back and forth between my grandparents and my aunts throughout my whole life. My husbands rejected me. And they would rather go out and cheat on me and be with other women than pay attention to me. I mean, so literally, as I'm going through this spiraling last night, sweet ones, my human side of me was in a very calm, peaceful state, if you will. But my inside was in turmoil, like you have no idea. And everything is coming. And the only reason I'm sharing this is because so many of you, of us, sit in silence and deal with this shit yourself. Yes, we have to. We have to go within. We have to be present. But you don't have to do it alone. Not everybody has the strength. I'm a very strong woman. Very, very strong. And my spirit's even stronger than my human. The world tells me something's black. I'm going to tell the world, fuck you. I'm going to show you it's pink. That's just me. You tell me I can't do something, I'm going to show you 100 times over. I will. when my oncologist with my lung cancer told me I was selfish because I wouldn't let them cut into me, I looked at him and said, F you, the only thing you have over me is 8 to 12 years of study knowledge, and I can do that myself. I'll come back in a year and I will be cancer free, and I did. I went back and my lung cancer was in remission. You are very powerful, sweet ones. And no matter what this outside world dictates to you and tells you, your spirit knows better. These energies are testing you. These energies are testing you to see if you're going to give into your human side of things, your human ego, or if you're going to surrender to your spirit. And David's Chase post validated that for me this morning. When I came on and I seen that, I started laughing. And it's like, thank you. Thank you, self, for that validation. And surrender to God, sweet ones. God's not outside of you. God is you. God isn't going to lead you anywhere you don't need to be, and it's not going to lead you down a path, but it will put you in a path with obstacles in front of you to see if you truly are surrendering to yourself. Surrendering to God. If you truly are living through your faith of the truth of your love. I love you, sweethearts. I get into that space with them. I'm talking from my spirit. Let me see what I've missed. Here. Dejan, Adela, Dania, Emmy, I love you all. I am grateful for you all. Please know you are not alone. If you spiral, reach out. If you start to spiral, reach out. And bless those who ignore you. Even though they see your messages and they ignore you, bless them. Be grateful for them. And hold space for them, because you know what? Everybody's going through their own stuff. And the greatest gift we can give humanity is our time and our love and our peace. And regardless if you can choose to live in a 3D world, or you can choose to live through your spirit in the 5D realm. And you can't have it both ways. You can't ride the fence. You can't stay in a marriage, a relationship, a job, a space where your spouse, your co-workers, and everybody else is 3D, and you're trying to do your spiritual work and do your spiritual mission and do your spiritual journey and play both sides of it. Allow 6, 7, 8 hours to your spiritual journey and then shut it down when the spouse gets home and the family comes around and everything else. Don't work that way. Because it may have worked that way up till now, but these energies are telling you to stop riding the fence. To either choose your ego and your humanness, or to choose your spirit. And, if we find ourselves staying in those relationships, staying in those jobs, even though Spirit has shown us, and we're just waiting for it to play out, we're just handing our power over. Handing our power over to that spouse, or that job, or this or that, whatever is still stuck in and has chosen not to ascend or rise from the 3D world. As long as we keep ourselves in those spaces, in those relationships, in those jobs, and we do not, even though we have been shown and we know that they are not part of our 5D experiences, but we have not taken the steps to get out of those situations, to get out of that marriage, to file for divorce, to walk out of that job and get another one, to follow our hearts, we are keeping ourselves trapped in a matrix. And it does not matter how much spiritual work we do on our journey. That is, at this space in time, that is a conscious choice. Because Spirit has shown us for months to leave that relationship, to leave that marriage, to leave that state, to leave that house, to leave that job, whatever it may be. Spirit has shown us consistently. And when we ask ourselves and we observe ourselves and we look, and we still find ourselves in that relationship where our spouse is totally 3D and we're trying to move on to 5D, guess what? You're not moving on to 5D until you listen to your spirit and you take the steps to get away from that 3D bullshit. Simple as that. Spirit made that clear to me last night. Crystal clear. There was no misinterpreting that last night. Spirit made it crystal clear. And David validated that this morning for me. Not that I need validation, but that confirmation, that validation for the human aspect is always welcomed, if you will. Adela, you did take that step, and I'm very proud of you for taking that step. You did it. Yes, you did it. And that is what Spirit is asking us to do. If you are in that marriage and your husband is staying in 3D, or your wife has chosen to continue on their soul's goals, and it's okay. It's okay. There's no judgment from me there. You know, everybody has, you know, we chose not to ascend the last ascension. We needed more soul's growth. You know, that's no different than those that are choosing not to ascend and awaken this time. That's not part of their soul's plan. Their soul's plan is they need more growing still. Excuse me. Love them through it, you know. Honor their free will choices. But for those of us that are on missions, those of us that are on galactic missions, and know that the 3D is being left behind, and choose to stay in those 3D relationships because they're just going to let it play out, it's going to be much more graceful if you actually step into your power and take the lead and take the command. Take command and walk out of it gracefully rather than just sitting there letting Spirit let it play out. Because by you sitting in that space and just letting it play out, you're giving your power away. You're giving your power of control over to the 3D spouse, to the 3D circumstances, to the 3D matrix. And you're letting them dictate to you. For those of you that have been guided to relocate and you keep telling yourself, I don't have the money, or the circumstances this or that, or yada yada yada, observe what these full moon energies and this Saturn Pluto conjunction or opposition, whatever it may be, these energies are pushing you. And if you're not really going within and hearing your spirit, or you're ignoring your spirit, it's going to be chaotic. Your spirit will push you. So for all of you that are coming into a space wondering, you know, I thought I dealt with this. First off, keep in mind that this is an ancient collective clearing. So all the rejection that I'm dealing with that's coming up to the surface necessarily isn't just Linda's. It's Gaia's. It's a collective planet. It's a planetary and a collective energy that we are releasing right now, sweet ones. Gaia's cracking open. And Gaia's been rejected and abused and abandoned for thousands upon thousands of years. And the pancreatic cancer will disappear. Spirit has shown me that the lung cancer was Linda's issues, that the planet, that because I hold the planetary consciousness of Gaia Sophia, the pancreatic cancer is directly tied into the rejection of the planet. It's not tied into Linda. Linda is just filtering it through her body. And that was brought and made crystal clear to me too. I've collapsed that timeline and that paradigm and that energy. Pancreatic cancer will leave my vessel. And I'm in full understanding of that. And I'm in full gratitude that my vessel can be used as a tool to transform and transmute that energy. And I came into that crystal clear awareness last night. I was aware of it before, the MRI. But, of course, the human side of us can't grasp that. Spirit made that crystal clear to me last night, again. And see, once the surface is never what it presents itself to be. See beyond it. See through it. It's hard for the human aspect to wrap their minds around the fact that this is a hologram, but it's exactly what it is. It's a hologram. And when you can see it for what it is and not spiral into the human fear, like I started to last night. Like I said, the human side of me was calm. Inside the vessel was a wreck. Thank you, Mickey. Thank you all. I love you all. And the only reason I do this is so you guys can understand you are not alone. And that is one thing I have battled on my journey so much. Because the majority of my journey, the majority of my life, has been alone. I get why on my spiritual journey, the spiritual journey is a singular journey. However, it's a journey of union. It's a journey back to union because our natural state of being has never not been in union. Our natural state of being, when you take away this, when you take away the flesh, when you take away the fat rolls, when you take away the wrinkles in the flesh, you know, you're limitless, you're boundless, you're free. You have nothing that holds you down, and that is what your spirit is. And don't let nothing get you down. We got this. You got this. And it's just the humanness. It's just the fear. See into the fear, sweet one. Step into it. Because until you step into that fear, it's going to rob you of every joy and happiness and positive energy vibration that you have. And that's why I reached out last night. Because I knew I was starting to spiral. And trust me, that rebellion in me. No, fuck you. You are not spiraling. I'm coming back from Walmart last night, driving, and all of a sudden, just out of the blue, I'm listening. The song comes on the radio, and tears just start coming out. You know, and I'm right back into that space, and it's like, oh, no, you will not. I straight up told my vessel, Linda, put a cork in it. We are not going through this. You are not going back down there. No. And I straight up, and that's, people think I'm in separation because I separate Linda from who I am. Linda is the name of my spacesuit of the temporary residence that I reside in. And when Linda starts to spiral, that's when, like I said, my spirit came out and said, oh, hell no. No, we're not giving into this fear. It is not going to get the best of us. Ego, go lay the fuck down, go on vacation. And that's exactly how I talk to my vessel. When I get, and I'm not one to cuss. I've cussed more in the past 2 weeks than I think I have probably the past 4 years. And again, that's a human aspect of it. And, that's just because I've been around people that have been cursing a lot. And you happen to pick up on that. But I do, when I get into that space, I get into that space, and I tell my human to F off. I tell my ego, go lay down. I don't tell my human, I tell my ego. Ego? Oh, hell no. You just need to shut up and go lay down. I got this. And trust me, I say that a lot. Because my ego does, I check myself a lot. You know that song by George Strait, Check Yes or No? Granted talks about it's a little love story about kids in grade school or something, check yes or no. For me, I don't know why that popped into my head just now, but it did. Oh, hell no, check yes or no. That's what popped into my head. So, sweet ones, know whatever you're going through right now, I love you all, and I'm grateful you're all with me. You know, I do this. Yes, I do it for myself because I go back and I listen to my videos and I hear, you know, because a lot of times I just let my spirit talk. You know, I don't plan these. I don't sit there and give myself an itinerary and tell you guys, okay, I'm going to talk about this, this, and this. I just let it flow. Helena, I love you. Helena Sophia Jensen says this: the human race is a bit stupid. We do the same in a circle when we have so much fear. No fear, and we become free, and it gives us power in full plus. Maybe we are afraid of our own power, Linda, to do what we really want from the heart, from our soul. Maybe. There's no maybe, Helena. Straight up truth. We are afraid of our own power. And Helena is the one who sat there and made a comment on my post yesterday that triggered me. Thank you, beautiful. She sat there, she made me see something that I hadn't seen. She said, there is a sorrow in you. She says, why do you feel that you do not deserve happiness, Linda? And that hit home. It's like, wow, why? How does she see that? And if she could, I don't see sorrow in that video I did, but she's seeing something. And that was Helena's exact words. Why do you let go of the sorrow? Why do you feel you do not deserve happiness? And that's not something I've ever really looked at. I've never felt that I haven't deserved it. So for her to say that, she triggered me. She triggered me big time, and that's really when I started to spiral. Which I thank you for that, Helena. I love you for that, and I'm grateful you did that. Because in that spiraling that she triggered, really brought me to the space I'm at today. And again, so often we are presented in the outside world aspects of self that show us what we cannot see ourselves. And that's why I do what I do. That's why I do these videos. Because one, I am talking to myself. And two, I am talking to myself by talking to each of you because you're all aspects of self. I mean, we all deserve happiness and abundance, but it has to be found from within. And I am a very happy person. I have my moments. The human has its moments, absolutely. But overall, I'm a very grounded, very balanced, very happy, very peaceful person. You know, those that do grace my presence, and again, you know, there's very few that come into my physical presence for whatever purpose. And on social media, sure, they go in Messenger and stuff, but I mean, in my physical world, you know, it's a very solitary existence for me, one that apparently Spirit has felt has been necessary. And one I pray changes soon. You know, it is what it is. But no, you're never alone. And no matter what this physical world presents, sweet ones, reach out. Step into your power. Claim all that you are. Because, you know, I'm not ashamed to come on here and show tears. You know, I'm not ashamed. How many times I come on and do a video without having, you know, almost, I don't wear makeup all the time. I don't, you know, most of the time I don't wear makeup. Every once in a while I will. And even then, all I wear is maybe some lip gloss and just eye makeup. I don't wear foundation or anything like that. I wear very little makeup. And, but yeah, I mean, you guys see me. I come on here with my hair a mess and everything else. I'm not my vessel. You know? And if people want to look at that as separation, well, so be it, you know? Perception is your own. But I come on here and I do this because I know the shit I've gone through. I know the hell I've lived through. And I know that this physical world will do absolutely everything in its power to bring you down. To bring us down. And don't let it. If you find yourself spiraling, call upon yourself. Call upon your mighty I Am presence. Call upon your team. Call upon your angels. If you believe in the galactics, call upon Sky Command. You know, that's what we are here for. We incarnated here. We walked in as galactic divine beings of light just for this purpose. Is it easy for us walk-ins that have walked into a physical body to have to transmute and transform and understand and understand and overstand all the bullshit that the human vessel that we have walked into has gone through? No, it is not easy. It's not easy at all. But it all can be transcended. And right now, when you enter these spaces from these energies that at times can make you spiral, stand up against your ego, sweet ones. Stand up against the memories, because that is your ego. Your ego has served its purpose. We don't need the human aspect of the ego, of the enslavement part of the ego. Let it go, release it, transform it. Allow yourselves to go into your higher mind, the spirit, the higher ego that benefits you versus the human mind ego enslavement that we've been in. And Adela says, yes, I had a little meltdown yesterday, but I got up stronger. Absolutely. And you will come out of it stronger. When you take action, and right now you're being asked to take a lot of action and to leave the 3D world behind, to walk away from that job, to relocate if you're guided to, regardless if the physical seems to have the ideal circumstances for that to take place. That is where you have to surrender to your spirit. You are being guided to take action, to leave that marriage, to leave that job, to leave that 3D world. And if you do not heed that guidance, again, you can do it gracefully, or Spirit will do it for you. Spirit works through us. And Spirit guides us. And I'm sure for many of you, if you observe, Spirit has been showing you in numerous ways, in numerous aspects, that job is not for you. That marriage, that relationship, that partnership is not for you. That's why there's arguing. And that's why there's this happening. That's why there's that happening. Because Spirit is trying to get you to stand in your power and to take command of your life. You don't want the arguing with this spouse? Why are you ignoring your spirit? Spirit's been showing you to walk away from it and to leave that relationship, that marriage, that partnership. And you're just sitting there waiting. Well, free will choice. Bless you. More power to you. Wait. And watch it get more chaotic and more turbulent because you won't step into your power and walk away. Let it get turbulent. Obviously, you want a stronger lesson, and that's what Spirit told me last night. You needed that lesson, Linda. You needed that initiation. You needed that initiation to see if you were going to let the fear get you, or if you were really going to surrender to the faith that you say you have. And trust me, sweethearts, my ego, my human aspect ego, is no match for my spirit. Because my spirit is total rebellious in a very good, loving way. So reach out if you need to. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable, to show yourself without the masks. I love you. You got this. I love you, Donna. I love all of you. I wouldn't do this if I didn't. I love you. I'm holding you all in eternal peace, grace, love, blessings, abundance, and magic. Let the magic of these energies transform you, sweethearts, and step into all that you are. Allow yourselves to set yourself free from the 3D world that you've known it. Give yourself permission to walk away from that marriage. Give yourself permission to walk away from that relationship. Give yourself permission to leave that apartment or leave that job or whatever. Whatever is not Twitter-petting your heart and really making you happy. If you're staying in a marriage or a situation, a roommate situation, whatever it may be, because you just don't know what to do, you don't have the resources to change it or anything else, surrender. Surrender, sweet one. Surrender to spirit and say, look, this is what the physical world is presenting to me. This is what you want me to do. You change this physical world and make it happen then. And give me the crystal clear clarity on what I need to do and the steps I need to do to make it happen in the most graceful, gentle, and easeful manner. Step into your power and take command of it, sweet ones. You don't have to be an asshole about it. You don't have to sit there and say, I command all of you to do this. No, don't work that way. Do it through the heart. Spirit, I surrender to you. And do it through love. Adela, you say, I don't have anything, but I will get there. Yes, you do. You have everything. Just because again, we're transcending the material world. And you will notice that on your journeys, less is more. Less will always be more. So, Adela, in this physical world, you may be like me and not have anything tangible and physical, which mine's by choice. And I'm sure yours is by choice too in many ways. That's because we are transcending the material world. You don't have anything because you have surrendered to the fact that you don't need anything. That Spirit will provide everything that you need. And that is a magical, magical, magical place to be. Because that's right where your spirit wants you. You came into this physical world naked with nothing. You will leave this physical world naked with nothing but your light body. And your heart. The lessons of the heart. Less is more, sweet ones. Have a magical, magical, magical day. I bless you all. I hold you all in grace, mercy, peace, love, and magic and abundance. Don't let this physical world get you down, sweet ones. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. And I'm here for you. I truly, truly am. I love you. Bye-bye, guys.